Are you tired of recreating toxic situations? It's a lack of forgiveness that's causing it. But wait, forgiveness is a weakness. No, it's not. Forgiveness is a strength. Forgiveness will set you free, it will heal you, and forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you, it's for us. What you don't forgive, you become, which means if you don't forgive it, you're going to continue to recreate that pain, that trauma, and that suffering. What's going on, guys? My name is Fausto. I'm a spiritual advisor, motivational speaker, and clinical counselor. But most importantly, I'm somebody who's battled with addiction, trauma, mental health, and a whole lot of codependency. And I truly believe those who hurt the most heal the most. And there's a lot of people out there that claim to be gurus, life coaches, healers, that are giving terrible advice that's going to end up hurting you more than helping you. And I've been blessed to not only go through the pain, but walk through it the healthy way, go to school to get a degree in it, and have worked with over tens of thousands of people due to a mentor of mine who allowed thousands of people at his house a week for free to come and heal, find hope, and connect and learn about their purpose in life. And in this video, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Now, I get it. This is a heavy topic because when I'm working with people and they hear this word forgiveness, I feel anger. They have this resistance to it, right? Push and pull, because a lot of people look at forgiveness as a weakness. And in this video, I'm going to teach you that it's not a weakness, it's a strength, but I'm also going to validate you if you feel like it is. And I'm also going to bring clarity and understanding to what it really is, because forgiveness equals peace of mind. Forgiveness allows you to heal your wounds so you attract better things in your life. Forgiveness is what helps you break that generational curse, that generational trauma, so then you can have generational healing. And trust me, guys, I've had things in my life that you would view as unforgivable pain. I was sexually abused when I was a boy. I was molested when I was a teenager. I had a father who wasn't around when I really needed him. I've been cheated on. I've been used. I've been abused. I've been betrayed. I've been lied to. I've been manipulated. People have stolen from me. People have hurt me. People have beat me up. I have many reasons to have a lot of resentments, but I've been able to forgive each of those things, which I'll go into more detail in this video. So the way we're going to go about this today is we're going to identify what is forgiveness and what it's not. We're going to talk about why it's so difficult to forgive, how forgiveness sets you free, and steps to take that are practical to start the journey of forgiveness. So what is forgiveness? Well, let's talk about what it's not. Forgiveness is not a weakness. We view it as a weakness because we think if I forgive them, then that means they get off the hook. It means that it justifies what they did is okay. That's why we think it's a weakness. We think sometimes holding on to anger and resentment is going to protect us from it ever happening again. But how many times have you held on to that anger and yet it happens again and again? Or maybe you're just depressed, sad, unhappy with life, and very reactive. Forgiveness is not a weakness. It is a strength. This is what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness is you letting go of what happened to you so it doesn't have any control of you. Because what we don't forgive, we become. I'm going to say that again. What we don't forgive, we become. What does that mean? It means you may not do exactly what they did to you, but you can. What it also means is that that pain that you hold on to will bleed onto the people that you love. That's why a lot of people are like, I'll never be like my parent. And then you are. You try so hard not to, but you become it. Because what you obsess to not become, you become because you're still focused on it. And so forgiveness isn't about them. It is about you. It's about me. It's about us. Forgiveness is what we need to do in order to heal so we don't recreate the trauma, the pain, and the suffering. Forgiveness is a healthy thing. It's a positive thing. I want you to really, really understand that's what it is. It's not to let them get off the hook. It's to let us heal so we can let go of it. And remember, just because we forgive it, it doesn't mean that we allow that person back in our life either. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness can be letting people back in your life if you want that. But forgiveness is for you, like I said. So you don't even have to go up to that person and, tell them, I forgive you. No, you don't have to do that, because if it's going to cause you harm, you don't do it. You can do it in many other ways of like journaling, meditation, therapy, and support groups. There's so many ways to go about it. So forgiveness isn't allowing that person back in unless you want to. Forgiveness isn't for them. Remember, it is for you. Why is forgiveness so difficult? Well, forgiveness is difficult because when people hurt us, it's not what they did that's necessarily the worst part. It's how it affects us after it. Maybe it gave us anxiety, trust issues, intimacy issues. We live in fear. We're very triggered easily. We're traumatized. There's a lot of things it can do. We think everyone's going to cheat on us. Everyone's going to hurt us. Everyone's going to steal from us. And there's some heavy traumas. Like for me, when you've been sexually abused at a young age as a kid, it really messes up your psyche, your sexuality, your view on love and relationships. And when it really hurts you, and then you go down a route of like drugs and alcohol and crime and violence and some type of addiction or some unhealthy thing that we do to cope, it's like, yeah, our life becomes really bad and we're really miserable. And so it's really hard to forgive someone when our life is in shambles, in pain, and we're not happy. And there's some things in the world that are harder to forgive than others just because of what society says is right and wrong. And that's what makes forgiveness very difficult to do. So like for me, in order to forgive the person who abused me, it took me 15 years to talk about it, to be open to forgiveness. And so I had to hit a rock bottom of like, my life was just so bad. I didn't think I was going to live anymore. And there was this concept of like, if you want to not go back to that old way of living that I had, right? Stuck in an addiction and codependency and depression and anxiety and suicide ideations, that I had to learn to forgive. And so when I came to that place of like, how do I forgive that? And what they do is they say like, you got to find your part in it. And so my part in it, first I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was a kid. But my part in it was holding on to that pain. So the person guiding me was like, is holding on to this pain of anger towards the abuse, how's it helping you? And I sat there for a bit and I thought about it. And I was like, it's not. He's like, how's it hurting you? I'm like, man, every relationship I've been in when it comes to love has been toxic. I don't trust men. I'm very like jumpy and like anxious around people. I have a very fear mindset. I'm a worst case scenario person, overthinker, overcompensate, people pleaser. And so he told me, what happens if you were to forgive it? You'd be able to experience love, trust men, not be as anxious, and just be more at peace. That right there, I was like, I want that. And so what I did was I discovered this narrative that what happens if it happened to me because I was strong enough to go through that pain to help out other men through that pain. Again, it's a crazy concept, right? It's just a narrative I told myself in the beginning. And every day I would focus on books that like presented like everything happens for a reason, surround myself with people who think like that. And by sharing my story, I found other men who've been through it, and I would ask them how they got through it. And every time I shared my story and it helped out somebody new that's never talked about their abuse, and they said like, thank you for sharing that. Like, I've never been able to talk about it. I feel so much better now. I feel seen, heard, and understood. It made me believe that there was purpose to that trauma. And so that's what helped me forgive, is you got to talk about it, choose a narrative that makes you be able to accept it, to let it go, understand it's not for them, it's for you. And then when you help people with your story, it helps you believe that there's purpose to it. Now, how does forgiveness set you free? Forgiveness sets you free because the lack of forgiveness, like I said earlier, is what creates the manifestation of pain and suffering. So if you've ever been in a place where everybody I date is toxic, and you probably have all these resentments towards people who've hurt you. You see what I mean? It's like you're recreating the toxic cycle over and over again. Forgiveness is what helps you break that cycle. That's why, like for me, I was in toxic relationship after toxic relationship after toxic relationship because it was never me. It was always them, and I was angry at them. But I would recreate that relationship, even though they looked different age, different background, different ethnicity. It didn't matter. It was always the same type of situation. Another way to look at this too, and I love this beautiful saying, holding on to a lack of forgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting that other person to die. That's how much it affects you. It doesn't really hurt them. It only hurts you because you're holding on to it. And I promise you, it does not protect you. It just hurts you. And also understanding that hurt people hurt people. Dad beats mom, kid sees that his whole life. Then son beats his girlfriend when he's an adult. Hurt people hurt people. Now, not everybody ends up like that, but that's how the cycle of trauma gets passed down. And so when we grow up in dysfunctional homes, we have a dysfunctional way of loving, caring, and living. And then there's situations, that people get into that are really terrible, and that's all they know to survive. And it's unfortunate that if we're that person that has to deal with that pain, but we can't change the past. We have to accept what happened to us, create a narrative that maybe it happened for a reason. Not even maybe. We have to create a narrative that it did happen for a reason because we are strong enough to go through that pain. And once you can do that and share your story and help others, I'm telling you right now, you will discover that there is purpose to everything in your life, and it will heal you and it will free you. You have to do that. Don't hold on to anger no more. Don't hold on to a lack of forgiveness. Find a way to forgive, and whatever way works for you. And if you have questions, leave comments in this thing, how to start that journey. Now, when it comes to the steps of forgiveness, I want to be able to give you guys practical things, but also understand that there isn't stages of forgiveness. It's very like this forgiveness, because you can go, okay, cool, I want to forgive, but I don't feel anything. Okay, I forgive. No, I want to take it back. Hey, I forgive and I feel it. And all of a sudden I don't feel it. So forgiveness is a journey. You're going to forgive more and more naturally when the time is right over time. But the first step is just about acknowledging what is the painful thing that you've been through that you have a hard time forgiving, and write it down. Write down person's name or the situation, write what that thing did, write out how it affected you. And then this is the hard part. What you're going to do is do that with everything that you feel safe with doing and vulnerable enough to do on a piece of paper. You don't have to show anybody. And then what I want you to do is I want you to really look at what is your part in it. So what does that mean? So I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. Girls that I dated, I've been cheated on, broken up with from my friends, I've been lied to, I've been manipulated, all that stuff, right? I've been hurt a lot. And so for a long time, it was just like, they're the problem, not me. But then when I looked at my part, I started to really recognize man, I ignored the red flags when we started dating. I forced that relationship. I would go back to the relationship after getting cheated on. I was also selfish, self-centered, doing drugs, drinking, lying. I didn't have good communication skills. I was codependent. So I'm able to see that I have a part too. So that helped me be able to really forgive them because I'm taking some responsibility for it as well, right? It takes two people to tango. When it came to my father, what I did was I understood my part in that one was, there's things I did as I got older to piss him off because I was so mad for him not being there. So I had a part in escalating the problem, but also I had to get to a point to okay, I've learned as an adult that being a parent isn't easy. And then I started to learn that my dad had his own battles with addiction, a mother who really didn't know how to show maybe love the way he needed it, and other personal stuff that, happened in the family that I could relate to. And so I started to understand he did the best he could with what he knew, and therapy was a taboo back then. And so I understand that it wasn't personal. It's just, he was hurt, and that's what happens. And so I was able to forgive my dad. Like I talked about earlier, right? The trauma being abused was just, my part was just holding on to that pain. We already talked about that earlier, and that's what I did. And then when it came to being angry at, let's say, I'm going to use this term, right? I had anger towards bullies. Well, those bullies were probably bullied too, when you think about it, right? Bullies that get bullied, bully others. So I was able to let that go. And that's how I was able to start letting go of resentments towards things. So whatever you have, try to figure out, right? What is it? How it affected you? What they did? What's your part? That's going to help you let it go. Step 2 is understand the impact. I want you to really look at how is holding on to these resentments affecting you negatively. Really break it down. How's it affecting you? Is it causing you to be angry a lot, sad a lot, reactive a lot? Relationship problems? Are you getting fired a lot? Do you not have friends? Are you constantly broke? Are you constantly blowing everything up, right? Self-sabotage. Really look at how these things are impacting you negative. Because sometimes we need to know how it affects us negatively in order to change it. Just like for me, I have to, sometimes a bad behavior that I do, let's say exaggerating or bad communication, bad time management. I need somebody to do that to me personally to see how it feels to be on the other side, which then allows me to check myself so I don't do it to others because I don't want them to feel that way. And then step 3 is remember, shift your perspective. Constantly remind yourself forgiveness isn't a weakness. Forgiveness is a strength. Forgiveness isn't for them. It is for you. You don't forgive and let them back in always. You forgive, but you don't forget, because what I mean by don't forget is you learn from it. So it doesn't have to happen again to you. Because one thing you'll learn, there's this thing that talks about like 95% of life is happening because of our own actions, and 5% is just life. Once you start to understand that a lot of things that you're resentful for is actually on you. So for example, I can be resentful towards somebody for cheating on me, hurting me, using me to a certain extent. But if I keep on going back to that relationship, back and back, anything after that is on me. I'm choosing to go back into that. If I would have left, I wouldn't have years of all that extra resentments going on, if you know what I mean. And then step 4, take action. Write a letter of forgiveness to the person and really be detailed about it. Put your emotions in it. Be graphic. Write it out. And again, take your time doing this. It could be a very emotional experience, but I want you to write it out, feel it, take your time. Maybe go somewhere like the beach or a park or just somewhere private. Read it out loud. Allow yourself to feel it. Don't rush it. Don't run away from it. And I want you to forgive that person. Acknowledge what they did to hurt you though, right? Still feel validated for what they did, and then forgive it. And then pay attention to how that feels when that weight comes off your shoulder. And then burn that paper. Throw it away. Whatever you need to do, right? Throw it in the ocean. And I promise you, you're going to feel so much healing. Your perspective on life's going to change. Good things are going to come your way. And the desires of your heart are going to start finding you, because when we forgive all this pain, it makes room for our purpose, our dreams, and our best life. Our best life cannot be there for us when we hold on to this pain. That pain is going to get in the way of it and destroy it. So life knows how much it loves us. So what it's going to do is it says, forgive this and I'll give you more. And those are the things that you can start to do today. And again, remember, take it slow. Forgiveness is on your time, not my time or anybody else's time. It's on your time. But forgiveness will save your life and it will free you. It has changed my life in many ways. It was difficult, but it was necessary. And I've been able to really have a good life because of it. And guys, again, I'm just so grateful that you guys have been watching this video till the end. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope what I said made sense. If you notice, I'm like out of breath because I have asthma and I'm allergic to my cats, and I have cats in my room. And I have, like I always say every video, right? I got ADHD, so I always overthink everything I say at the end. I'm usually all over the place. And I'm still been sick from that music video shoot with Gremlin that I showed in the last video on what is trauma, being in 6-degree weather, acting, which was crazy. I might even do a reaction video to that. So I can't hear from my right ear. Just thank you guys so much for listening to this. Please, guys, like, subscribe, notify, share this. The more people that can see this video, the more people can heal. And if the more people can heal, the more people can heal others. And then we can add more peace to the world, because we all deserve to have a better life and to bless those around us. And remember, your story matters. Hope comes before the miracle. You deserve love. You deserve happiness. I love you. I'm here for you guys. So let's heal together. And thank you again for watching this video, guys.